Hello. Hi.
Morning.
Morning. Hi, everyone. Uh, Here today, back to another session, another live session, the Thrive with Marketing podcast. And today we have a new guest with who I wanted to invite. I've been wanted to invite for a while, and finally we have him here. So very much appreciated having today Mike. For those who don't know, Mike Pye is marketer, well, with a longer experience. Marketer is a business owner, the managing director of Mike Pye company, managing director of other businesses that he can tell us about it in a minute. And yeah, it's a really great guy to work with great values. And yeah, since I met him a while ago, face to face in a workshop, yeah, I think we connected, and it's the kind of person that it's easy to connect and to work with. So welcome to these sessions, Mike, and thanks for being here today.
Morning. Thank you. Thanks for the nice introduction. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, mate.
Good.
First guest that asked me back how I mean how I am. Nah, very well. Thanks.
Good stuff.
So you want to tell people, yeah, you want to add something else to the intro to people?
Yeah, shall I
That
do a brief introduction? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, my name is Mike. I run a marketing consultancy business here in Manchester called Mike Pye and Co. We're a team of specialists that work with predominantly purpose-led, values-led businesses to help them make an impact, really. My background is in marketing for all of my career. I've been in marketing 15, 16 years now, both worked agency side and in-house side, and started my business, which is now in its 6th year, which is mad. It feels like 5 minutes ago. But yeah, now 6 years. And yeah, here we are today. We're now a team of probably in total about 20. I work on an associate model, so there's a big bank of associates that work with me, and then a core team of people who are operationally running projects every day and building relationships with clients. And yeah, like I said, we work with predominantly purpose-led businesses, and that's a specific decision that we've made in the last 12 months. It's been a natural evolution. We've kind of came to the realization about 12 months ago that we've got a wonderful bank of clients, and some of those clients were doing some really amazing things, so they were having real social impact with the work that they were doing. And they're not necessarily not-for-profits, they're not necessarily charities, but they were delivering some fantastic social good through the work that they were doing, whether that be through an altruistic side of the business or whether that be through investing in social projects or having a foundation attached to the business, something like that. And yeah, we kind of realized that 60-70% of our clients were in that world, and that wasn't a decision to go out after those kind of businesses. It just kind of came to us and the way that the business evolved, and it really resonated with us as a business and kind of our values. As a business owner, I suppose in the last 6 years, you work with everyone. You know yourself, Tony. You get involved in so many different projects, and some of those end up being brilliant. Others you think we don't click as a client agency relationship. We don't have the same values, and we don't agree with how you work and stuff like that. So I suppose that the pandemic, like for a lot of people, was a bit of a time of realization and change and a refocus about what we want to do and who we want to work with. So we said, right, we're now at an established stage. We know we're doing some good work for people. We know that we help businesses grow. We've got a great track record of that. But if we're going to do that for anyone, let's do it for clients who are actually doing something good, rather than just making money for the sake of making money. So yeah, we're lucky now to work with lots of different clients who are doing good and whether that be for people or planet, whether they're supporting the growth of their teams, whether they're sort of creating communities, or whether they're protecting the world in some shape or form. They're all kind of fit along that mold.
I think it's a great way to explain. Obviously, like I can totally relate, because from my own experience in different clients and stuff, but then I could enjoy more working with, or I do enjoy more working with people that we kind of connect, but not also they understand, they value the job, our work, but then they value their own teamwork. And it's kind of like, it's people that you can enjoy more, but then you can connect more, and it's more motivating to work with people like that.
That's exactly it. They're generally good people who have good values and are nice to work with, which is a massive plus. But they're also doing projects that we can really buy into. And if you see you're having an impact, you're having a real impact, not just on someone's bottom line, which is really engaging for me personally and for the team. They really buy into the clients that we work with. And I think the key thing is for us is that we're actually demonstrating our values as a business as well. So we've done a few things in the last 12 months to kind of give back in some way as well. So we've recently signed up for 1% for the Planet, where we give 1% of turnover every year to that organisation, and they've selected a couple of specific charities that we'll be supporting through our work financially. We've joined a fantastic network called the Better Business Network here in Manchester, which is brilliant. Again, it's all businesses that have really strong values and want to do business in the right way. So yeah, things like that, just to kind of demonstrate that we're kind of practicing what we preach. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I was going to get into that because we know businesses that talk about quite a lot about their values, and then they show how we have the values, the culture, we have a ping pong table, table tennis table, and but then they're not actually doing as much for other people and for their own people, their own staff, also to help others, which is really, really good, guys. And I will share the information also in the description once we publish the podcast and everything. We share the information about these charities as well. If someone else wants to get involved, it will be great. So, the title for today, I chose this title because I know you are a person with a focus and the business focus on purpose and on people and strategy as well, but strategy for the business and marketing. So that's why I choose the title, Marketing with Purpose, Strategy and People. First of all, I like people to, if you could explain to people very briefly, how did you become an entrepreneur, a business owner? Because you don't like the word entrepreneur, do you?
I don't like the word entrepreneur. I feel like it has big connotations that are kind of, people having grandiose expectations of how they look and sound to the world, and talking about on LinkedIn getting up at 4 a.m. to start work after they've been to the gym and after they've done X, Y, and Z. It's it embarrasses me. So no, I don't like the word entrepreneur, but yeah, I'm a business owner. I always wanted to kind of work for myself. I think I worked in a number of different roles and was always there for 2 to 3 years before I kind of got itchy feet and wanted to move on. And I've now been running my business for probably twice as long as I was ever employed. So I think I already always had that. It was kind of in the family as well. My dad had a business when I was growing up, but it took me a long time to pluck up the courage to do it. So 2015, I think the final thing that made me go for it was my wife at the time got a new job. She was self-employed and went employed, so it gave us the opportunity to be able to take a chance. And I went into a role which was the biggest one of my career to date, and definitely like financially the biggest one of my career to date. But I just hated it. I hated every second of being there. It was a company, funnily enough, that kind of prided themselves on talking about what an engaging company they are, and they were a top 100 company to work for, but had the worst culture I'd ever worked in. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, I suppose, where I thought, right, it's now or never. Let's go for it. So I started off that first year kind of working as an outsourced head of marketing for 3 or 4 different businesses, helping them develop strategy and bring in teams to implement it. And then the business has just evolved in that time, where we wanted to be able to deliver on a lot of that strategy, and I started collaborating with a lot of specialists like yourself. And over that course of that time, we've built a team, and we've brought on more clients, and started to be able to deliver a lot of those campaigns, and build more of an agency type business.
Yeah, it's interesting, obviously, when you mention, because for some people, they believe, I mean, they see probably like entrepreneurs and people like setting stuff on social, or saying that we in 2 months you get to this point, or 6 months to this, and then all of that is quick wins and getting to the, it's interesting just playing the journey where you started, and you could take some time to, you had the position to start like investing in your business, taking working for yourself, and then build it up until you get to form a team and build a team and all of that. It's a long process that, it could sound for some people like, oh yeah, you could get there easy, but it's not really easy. And then, it's
a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of learning every day and getting knocks, and I suppose having to kind of deal with that and move on. I think that's the thing that's most exciting for me as a business owner. Every day is a challenge. Like, every day is a roller coaster. Every hour can be a roller coaster. I've had so many times in my career over the last 6 years where you're lower than anything at 12 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock, out of nowhere, you get an introduction for a project which materializes, and it transforms everything. I've had so many times where it's, you're wondering whether you're going to pay the bills, or whether you're going to have to, downscale really rapidly, and then all of a sudden things change. That is both, can be overwhelming, but also incredibly rewarding and exciting. So I suppose that's the life of running a business, really. It's
you got a life.
Every day is different.
Exactly, you got to love a good challenge every day, every week. Otherwise, it's not.
You never stop learning. You're always in a state where you're kind of stretched, I feel, because you're never finished. It's not like when you're in a job and you can kind of 6 months in the job, you get used to it and you know what you're doing every day, and it kind of becomes second nature. Like when you're running a business, like, it's never finished. So there's always something to do next, and you feel like you've got to a level where you want it to be, but actually no. When you get to that point, you want to be at that point. So it completely changes again, and all the challenges that come with it, start again. So it's like I say, it can be tiring, but it's good. It's good fun.
Absolutely, the excitement is what keeps you going, keep us going. I mean, it's the great part of it. So we covered a bit of the challenges of an entrepreneur already, but why? I mean, you mentioned values, and I know why. You explain why. Obviously, values are important for any business and for people, to deal with people and work with people. Why are you passionate about working with those organizations? As you already mentioned something of it, but why is that? Why those organizations bring you that others don't? I think you mentioned already part of this, but
I think it's the fact that it's rewarding, and the fact that we're delivering something. Marketing often has a lot of negative connotations, I think, for some people, where they're either marketing department is either seen as, something that's rather intangible. They don't really know what they're getting. They're spending a lot of money. It's performance marketing. It's all about, growth. Or on the other hand, I suppose it's kind of really considered as part of the future of the business. Like, it's very polarized, I think, in terms of how people see it. But I suppose the thing for me is that if we're gonna marketing is imperative as an organization. We have to do it. We have to keep growing, but growth for the sake, we know the planet is kind of on fire right now, right? So if we all just keep growing and growing and growing without values, then we're just going to burn to the ground, essentially. Like, there's so much going wrong in the world, but at the same time, organizations are the things that are going to fix it. Governments can't fix it. Individuals can't fix it. It's organizations that are creating the economy, and that is naturally going to be the thing that has the impact on the world. If organizations have the right values and are giving back to the world with the profits that they make, then that's what's going to make change.
Exactly. You can't neglect what's going on in the world. You can't just focus. You can just only focusing on, oh, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to do this, and then reduce my staff salary to make more profit. That without thinking about
it's just consumption without giving back. It sounds quite ethereal, I suppose. But if Amazon decided that they were going to give 1% to the world, then imagine what impact that could have. And they're not going to do it because they're purely about profit. But there's hundreds of thousands of organizations that are doing just that.
We could talk about specific cases. I mean, this BrewDog, for example. I don't want to talk about it right now because maybe we'll get in trouble. But then BrewDog, they show like a great culture. I actually read a book from one of the owners. It was quite good. The book was focused on culture, how to be really cool with your staff and stuff like that. And then at the moment they kind of going through like a crisis for that, because they're not actually as they were, pretending to be. So
yeah, exactly. I suppose there's a lot of negative stories, but we don't really talk about the positive stories enough. And they're big companies that are really in the news. And I suppose on the flip side, you've got companies like Patagonia that are doing amazing stuff. And on a smaller scale, I suppose just to talk about some of the clients we work with, there's some wonderful things going on. So one of our clients, Tyler Grange, we actually cohabit with in their office in Manchester, but they're a environmental and ecology business that work on big infrastructure projects. But they're out, in terms of what they do, they're out every day kind of saving biodiversity from getting destroyed by huge kind of commercial property and infrastructure projects. But as well as doing that as a profit-making enterprise, they're investing into the community. They're supporting charities. Over Christmas, they did every day they were supporting a new charity. They support their internal community incredibly with training and support and well-being support. They have an in-house psychologist, kind of making sure that well-being is kind of at the core of what they do. It's really inspiring to see what they do, but they kind of translate that outside into their partners and their community as well. So it's not just the people who work there. We as a supplier, they look after us. They share that kind of stuff with us. They're taking one of our team on a training course, a well-being training course, just stuff like that. They just want to give back to the community. Another story, I suppose, we're working with a client called Fusion 21 over in the Wirral. They're a procurement organization, but through the procurement, all of the projects that they deliver through that procurement has to have an element of social impact in the communities that it gets delivered in. So in the service that they deliver, it's generating social impact, but on top of that, profits from the organization go into a foundation, which also go back into supporting the community. So there's lots and lots of stories of big businesses and smaller businesses like doing great things and living by the right values, and that's the sort of stuff that really excites me and the team, where we can really feel like we're adding value.
I agree when you say before, well, they don't get as much press or as much recognition for it, or and then when we talk about something negative, everyone knows about it, and then small organizations are not that small at doing great stuff. They should be, more supported by the media. I mean, in general. I mean, I'm going to get into that at the moment with the media.
No, I agree, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of we talking today. I like to talk today about people because I know you. Well, you mentioned to me, and I know you look after your team and the people that people that cooperate with you, work with you, and people is in the mind of any business. I mean, without people and teams and people to help you, great people, you're never gonna grow or get where you want to get, and it's never gonna build up like a proper strong business. So
Yeah.
what if you? I mean, I remember I met you in a team building workshop a while ago, but then what would you say is the key for having a strong team from your experience?
I think I'm still learning that, and I'm still and I kind of learned that the hard way. I used to always want to do everything myself. I was such a control freak, and I probably am still to some extent. I want to know what's going on in every project, and you have to learn to let go of it if you're growing. I'd always had teams in my previous roles when I was employed. But I suppose it's within having my own business and of creating my own team, that the biggest thing that I kind of learned in that time is you need to hire the right people. And everyone says this: hire the right people that have the same culture and ethos. Absolutely, that's harder than it looks. But if you find those perfect people, then and give them the freedom to take ownership of their own stuff, then everything else comes together. If you give them the freedom, but then give them support to do that, that's where you can make the real gains. So that's taken some time for me to get to that point. It's hard. It's hard to step away and to not try and control and not micromanage. But I think I've probably gone from the micromanaging side to now almost the opposite, I think, and that's through a lot of kind of support and advice. I'm constantly seeking out advice from different people and engaging with people who know their stuff, and that goes with clients as well. I mean, I've got some great relationships with clients who've built really successful businesses, and I spend a lot of time with their owners and founders to kind of work out what they've done, what they've learned, and kind of glean some of that information. So now I think I'm a complete opposite. I did some really good work with a guy called Martin Murphy, who's a former Special Forces guy, leadership coach. Now got a fantastic book called From Mercenaries to Missionaries. I think you've met Martin, Toni.
Yes.
But I did a big piece of work with him over a few months, both personally in terms of some coaching and some mentoring, but also in terms of taking some of the lessons that he's learned, like working in really high performance teams, to kind of implement within our team, and that's been fantastic. And he worked with quite a few of our clients as well, so I know that he does some amazing stuff. But being able to step back, understand what motivates people, where they're at in their lives as well. It's not just about work; it's about what's important to them as people, and then giving them the support to achieve that, allowing people to fail, knowing that nothing's going to be perfect all the time, but giving people those opportunities. And I think doing that in the last 2 years, it's seen just an absolute massive impact on where we are now, and we wouldn't have been had we not kind of taken that approach. I think there's inherently people want to do good, and people want to develop, and they want to be motivated. And it's my job as a business owner to facilitate that, essentially, and not try and hold people back, people opportunities, and give them support to kind of achieve what they want to achieve.
Definitely, and you know, when you see like people like yourself and the team where you grow in, because people working with you, and then all of that, for me it's like inspiring as well. You see, okay, you can work with people, you can build a team, you can, you know, kind of like form a strong team of people with, you know, working the same direction. But I guess obviously there are lots of stuff in the back that you have to deal with, and then you have to help people when they are feeling low, when they feeling they can. And I, from my own experience in the past, when I worked for the companies, it was more about you're always scared of failing or doing something wrong, because you feel they're gonna sack you, or even sometimes you propose ideas and they're like, why was this? Why are you saying this and stuff? And that's that's if you can be yourself in one job or every day working 8, 10 hours or 12 or whatever, and then what you do, what's the point, right? What's the point? I mean, they can't.
That's exactly it. I've been there exactly, where you feel like you're just a number. You feel like, it's a very transactional relationship.
Exactly.
You pay me to do X, Y, Z, and that's it. We want people to be, really engaged in what we're doing as business, but likewise, to do that, we need to understand what motivates them, and we need to create the environment where they can thrive. And I think that goes for not just the people that are employed, but your wider community as well, your partners that you're working with, the associates that we work with. And I think, I mentioned Tyler Grange earlier. I mean, like they take that approach, whether you're employed by them, whether you're a freelancer working with them, whether you're a supplier agency, they look after and they understand what's important to you and they support. And I think that's really important. We've been lucky to work with quite a few clients who, like I say, who think the same way, and they're advocates. They involve us in their businesses. They treat us like we are part of the team. It's not a transactional relationship. It's a proper community that they're creating. So I suppose for me, it's about trying to create the same thing, where everyone feels, however they interact with us as a business, they feel like they're part of something and that they're having a good experience and that they're valued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally key. I mean, and these days, mental health. I mean, we know people have been talking for a long time, but not many people are actually spending the time or to talk to their own team and to really kind of like ask them how they feel. It's like, come on, let's crack on. You have to do all of this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, then deliver. And then
so many businesses are still paying lip service to that as well. And I know a few in particular that, friends and family work for, which are saying, we want to look after your mental health and we're here to look after your well-being. And they'll put on a 20-minute yoga session at lunchtime, but then still expect you to work until midnight. And I know a lot of people who are doing that. And it's just complete antithesis of what they're trying to achieve. And they're just doing it to be seen, really.
Yeah. Is this never going to work, is it? I mean, it's never going to work doing that way. I mean, you can't push people and offering just whatever you feel like is the solution without. Okay, let's change a bit to something a bit more. I mean, I'm having fun anyway. I'm not saying that I'm not having fun. I mean, for me, it's been fun, and I could be talking now with you, mate. I wish we had a small drink here, like a pint in the bar, but it's not.
It's 9 o'clock here, so I'm not going to tell you what's in the cup.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 in Spain. I'm just drinking water at the moment, but well, let's see what happens next. Let's see next. Let's change a bit, something different. Let's tell us about any fun story or something that happened to you in your years of working or running your business. I mean, something that you feel like you could share, like it could be fun.
Yeah, there's loads, to be honest. It's stressful, but it's created some really fun times. I'm lucky to be involved in quite a few communities where there's some great people, great business owners that are doing great things, and we have fun together. We really do. I've been lucky enough to be taken away with a couple of different businesses before. One in particular took me to Porto for a weekend. Things like that, which have just been fantastic. One thing I'll definitely shout out is a community I'm involved in over here called Fresh Walks, which is a fantastic business community based in Manchester. But the whole premise is that we go and spend time walking in the Peak District, in the Lake District, with lots of other business owners. It's an opportunity to network, but it's an opportunity to really make great relationships. And that community's been amazing in the 6 years that I've been doing business, and it's created a lot of fun times. I suppose the last 2 years, everyone knows it's been really, really stressful at times, but that's been like a fantastic outlet for that. And one I suppose example in particular is at the end of the major lockdown, they organised a trip up to the Lake District for a couple of days. I think there was about 30 Manchester business owners, very serious businesses doing great stuff, big businesses, got everyone together, and it was like a school trip. It was fantastic. I think everyone needed that release after a really, really stressful time where a lot of people, didn't know if they were going to be in business from one day to the next. But yeah, there was a moment where 3 o'clock in the morning we were on the beach by the lake, having a mini rave in the middle of October. It's probably one of the funnest. I felt like, I generally felt like you were 16 again. So yeah, you wouldn't have expected that group of people would have all been, leaders of various different businesses.
Why not, mate? Why not?
Great fun.
Sounds really cool, actually. And I'm definitely going to put it on my list of things to do when I'm back in Manchester, trying to join one of those fresh walks. I've been following for a while, but then we moved here and then in the future, definitely. Sounds
amazing. It's amazing, and I suppose that little example is kind of testament to the community that's been created there. All of those people within that community really support each other and help each other through tough times. And that was kind of a moment where, after all of that stress, be able to get together and kind of let off some steam was great fun. But now we're going to be collaborating with them more this year as well. Last year we did a private Fresh Walks event where we took clients and prospects out for a day into the Peak District, and we combined it with Martin Murphy, who I mentioned, who came and did some workshops while we were up a hill. And then this year we're going to do the same thing in May and September. We're going to do 2 kind of private events and kind of take our community out into the countryside and do some cool stuff and let off some steam. So yeah, it's great.
Sounds pretty amazing. Honestly, I mean,
cool.
I'll take a next flight over for me.
Definitely invited.
Definitely. And I'll share that with people as well in the description when we publish this, because it'd be cool for people to check Fresh Walks, whoever is around Greater Manchester. I mean, I guess it's Greater Manchester and sometimes out of Manchester, or it's only Greater Manchester.
No. It started off being Manchester and the Peak District, but now there's across the country really. So Michael DePaolo, who runs it, is doing events in London, in the Midlands, in Yorkshire, up in the Lake District. So there's loads of opportunities to do it. Actually taking a load of people away to Geneva as well in May.
Wow.
To go walking in the Alps. So that's the thing I'm most looking forward to this year.
Wow. Yeah. You're getting me excited, man. And now I have to stay here in the office for a few hours. I like to go out now, go for that walk. That'd be cool. I'll definitely I'll try to join that one. So back to marketing and business. Why? I mean, one of the main topics, and I know you very strategic marketer. I'm myself. I mean, I'm no marketing strategy is the base of. You don't mind. I mean, you can run a really good campaign on Facebook. You can do whatever, but the strategy is the main base. I mean, building a strategy is the main absolutely key of our marketing and make it work. So why is it important for business to build marketing strategy? Why is that?
Yeah, I suppose everything I'll probably say now has been said a million times. It's nothing new and nothing groundbreaking. But I suppose it's the fact that so many of the businesses that I've worked in or clients that come to us, they go straight to thinking about tactics rather than thinking about strategy. Okay, so that they have an idea of where they might want to go and they go, right, Facebook ads is the thing, or we need to be doubling down on our email list, or we need to invest in SEO, and they're not actually thinking long-term or strategically about how all of their channels come together and their brand positioning and how their campaigns link to their targets, and all of that so important stuff, which is time consuming and kind of labor intensive. But unless you get that right, then tactics aren't going to work necessarily. You're kind of shooting in the dark, and that's what we see a lot. I mean, we have I suppose the 2 questions that come to us most regularly is, firstly, like, we need to do some marketing in inverted commas, and like, what does that mean? Like, who's doing it for the sake of what? Like, what do you want to achieve? Like, that don't have the answers to those questions. Or people come to us and say, can you do X? Can you do Facebook ads? Can you do Google ads? Well, yeah, but where does it form as part of what you actually want to achieve? Is it the thing that's going to help you get to where you want to be? So strategy is vital, and I suppose the starting point for us is like understanding all of those things. So what's your position in the market? What challenge is it that you're trying to solve for your customers, and is your message communicating that in the right way? Are we articulating your positioning in the right way? Who are your potential customers? There are going to be lots of different types of customers. How are we communicating with them all? How are we really like understanding your audience in depth, who they are, how we want to communicate to them, how we're going to get in front of them, the channels that we're going to use, all of that sort of thing. And I think the main thing is like, are we creating opportunities for them to engage with us as a brand or personally? We work with a lot of B2B businesses. And for a lot of them, they're thinking about brand awareness. They're just trying to be active in the market. But what we need to do to actually grow those businesses is create opportunities for them to engage with us as a brand and engage with us personally, because definitely in B2B, and I think across all marketing, it's about relationship building. And we need to create multiple opportunities for us to get in front of those people and really help them trust us. Opportunities to meet face to face, or to engage with the brand in a meaningful way, whether they're digesting content and getting value and building trust. That's what's going to drive the business forward, to be able to start that process, help them build trust with us, and then create opportunities for them to actually do business with us in a meaningful and reasonable way. Clients aren't going to always come to you and say, we're going to buy your biggest product. We need to start them off small, have a selection of products that they can engage with in a way that it's not always, like such a massive outlay, so that they can try us, they can test us, and then we can evolve and have a product hierarchy, which enables us to keep working with them and build that relationship. So it's about understanding all of that stuff. It's about, product market fit, positioning, messaging, audience, budget, skills, all of those kind of things, so that you can understand where it is you want to go and work backwards, developing a strategy that's actually going to help you get there. And then you can think about tactics, channels, and all the testing and things like that to kind of make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like those elements that you need to put together to build a strategy that makes sense. And in some, you mentioned it, most businesses just come to you, I want to do this, I want to run this and that, because they hear someone else, I done this before and it works really well, or my competition is doing this or that. And then actually, maybe you should try to just analyze first, how you're going to, approach that, how you're going to define your message, how you're going to reach this and that, and analyze everything before you make decisions, and make decisions based on actually something that is data, or is analysis, or something that people actually, your clients are actually, saying or wanting to to buy, really, or to
and understanding, aspirations and budget and skill set is so important to that, because I'll reference one example. We had a client come to us and said, we want to be on TikTok, we want to be doing this, that, and the other. And they're a small business that focused on the legal industry, a very professional audience base, and like investing hours and hours and hours of time into creating TikTok videos is not where your market's at, for one, and you haven't got the skill set to do it, and it's going to cost a load of money and a load of time to do it, and you're probably not going to get the results. What you actually do have, though, is 50,000 emails of customers that have opted into you, and they buy into what you're doing. And if we've already got that opportunity, so let's see what we can do with that. And email's one of the cheapest things that you can do. And if you can do it well, and you can create great content, you can get people engaged, and you can create the products that people are engaged with, then you've already got the market there. Let's do more with that. Let's build that out. And that's where we need to think, about strategically, where's your time and money and resource best spent to achieve results.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you, Mike, on this one. And then I also wanted to mention, as we are here, obviously, a little promotion for you. You running a series of workshops called Build. So if you want to mention a bit of that.
I'll quickly mention that. So yeah, one of the things we've done over the last 12 years is build out more of an education element to the services that we deliver with customers. We do a lot of training on specific channels, on specific methodologies and stuff like that with clients and their teams. But one of the things that we developed last year was a methodology and a program called Build. It was born out of kind of all of the challenges that we see businesses having when it comes to marketing strategy. And we created tons and tons of content addressing those challenges. Over the course of the year, we turned that into a full program, a 2-day workshop, an accelerator program. So it's about a 6-week program altogether. So 2 days of in-house training followed by mentoring and coaching with the team to guide people through developing strategy and campaigns with us and giving them the tools to be able to implement it within the business, which is really cool. And we're doing regular small workshops throughout the year on some of those topics. And then the cool thing about all of that was that creating all that content, creating the course, we turned it into a book at the end of the year as well. So we've just launched the Build methodology book, which is really cool, which is getting that arrived at the start of the year from the printers. That was one of the coolest things, I suppose, to start the year off, saying, wow, all of that time and effort, we've actually now got a physical book that we can give to people. And it kind of it's a fantastic way to kind of help them understand how we work and what we do as a business, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. And then you create different formats for the people that like reading the book and then attending the workshops and then different ways. Yeah, very cool. We'll share the info as well with people. I mean, they want to have a look at the workshops and book. We are approaching the end, but well, we'll have a few questions more. But then in terms of what
questions.
quick ones. The last quick ones. What are some of the key ingredients of marketing for you? I mean, this is a question. Like, to be honest, you could say like loads, but it could take hours to reply this question. But just in a nutshell.
Yeah, I suppose I'll just repeat some of the stuff that I've waffled about a minute ago. But yeah, understanding your position in the market and the challenges that you solve, understanding your target audience in depth. You know, who are they? Where are they? What are their individual challenges? What's the messaging that's going to resonate with them? And that's one of the most important things, you know, and you need to speak to customers to understand that. You need to do that research to find the answers to those questions, and actually speaking to them is what's going to give you the gold that you need to create the messaging and the content that you're going to create. Creating multiple opportunities for them to engage with you in different ways. So how can they engage with you for free and get great value? So in the content that you create, in the downloads, in the workshops, the webinars, the videos, all that sort of stuff, so they can start to buy into you as a brand. And then how can they easily start to do business with you and transact with you in small ways to start with, small value products that they're going to get great experience from, but then more and more into retaining them as long-term customers. And having a marketing plan that actually helps you do that. So driving people from acquisition, acquiring new customers, to then retaining them and upselling them over time. So that's thinking about the whole marketing mix, the whole channel suite, to be able to do just that. Thinking about the long-term value of your customers and how you can support them through the content that you create and the marketing that you do. So yeah, it's not a quick answer, but it's about thinking about the whole piece.
No, I know. Asking for a quick. I mean, it's difficult to explain a quick answer, but you done very well. You done very well, mate. Explain very, very briefly. But obviously, people, if they want all of that, they need to come to marketers like us. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
It sounds easy, but it's not as simple. So
yeah, it takes time. It takes time. There's no quick fix. Yeah.
Hard work. So what are some of the main marketing or business tools that you have in your toolkit that you can't live without?
I can't live without Asana, project management tool. Asana runs my life. Outside of work, I'm an absolute shambles of a human being. I'm terrible at, about remembering dates. I'm terrible about, knowing what's in the diary from one day to the next. In work, I'm like micromanaging my own time. I'm really sweet on that, and that's the only way I can do that is through Asana. So Asana runs my life. I know exactly all the tasks I need to do every day. I can allocate tasks to the team, all that sort of thing. But it also runs the business as well. So we use Asana really heavily for driving the business forward. I suppose outside of that, I use a couple of like tools and techniques a lot. I use, as you know, running the business, like the to-do list is massive every day. As soon as you feel like you've completed some of it, the next day it's even bigger. Your email's massive, and that's what's going to be quite overwhelming. So I use a tool called the Eisenhower Matrix quite a lot, which is just a basic project productivity tool to help you focus on what the most important tasks at hand. So it enables you to kind of divide your task list up into 4 quadrants: do now, do later, delegate, or delete. And I do that every day, just to try and keep on top of stuff. And then a final one, I suppose, which gets talked about a lot, but it's really, really powerful, is a technique called the Pomodoro technique. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's about dividing tasks up into small chunks, 25 minutes.
25 and then a break, and then 25 and then a break. Yep.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like when you've got tasks that either you don't want to do, you're not feeling that excited about, or that are hard, just focusing in those small chunks is a brilliant way to smash it out. So if it's creating content, or working on some strategy stuff, or having to do a client report, or something like that, just nailing it in those 20 minutes and then having a break is a great way of doing it. Trying to turn off all distractions, so all you're doing is focusing on that one task. It's amazing how much you can do. So I suppose those 3 things are like what kind of gets me through the week, really.
Yeah, it's hard to get that away from the distractions. I mean, like when we use Slack, we use Asana, we use email, we use the phone. Now, at the moment, I don't know if you heard it, but my phone just kicked out. I don't know who was calling me, and I was like, I forgot to turn the phone on. But then he was like, a client, like, come on, leave me alone. I'm in the middle. It's all right. But it's hard, isn't it? But you have to plan yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do my work. I'm just not going to look at anything else. Otherwise, it's not going to be. I'm not going to be productive. It's a challenge, isn't it? Challenging.
Yeah.
So approaching the end, well, name. I would say, well, this is a hard one as well. I mean, name 3 people to follow, 3 books, marketing or business, or whichever book, and 3 music bands, because I love music, and I know British Manchester music, and then you gotta love some bands from the UK.
This is the hardest question, I think. 3 books. I read loads, and I read a lot of business books. I read a lot of non-fiction stuff. I suppose the one that's had the most impact recently is Dare to Lead, Brené Brown, which is really kind of mind-opening. And I suppose along the same vein, I mentioned earlier, Martin Murphy, again, his book From Mercenaries to Missionaries. If you want to learn about creating high-performance teams, that book is incredible. I read a book in lockdown called Emotionomics, which is a book by a guy called Dan Hill, which is all around the power of emotion in communications, essentially how to create emotion, understanding how emotion resonates with people, which is obviously so important when it comes to marketing. And I suppose from a more of a kind of lifestyle side of things, I just read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which is really good. Like life's stressful. Lots of people suffer with anxiety and things like that. And The Power of Now is all about living in the present. And I'm a sucker for always thinking too far ahead. And like that's really helped me kind of distill how important it is to kind of be in the present and give you techniques to kind of stay in the present. So there's some books. I follow the Do lectures really heavily, and their email is incredible. Like the email content that they send is so helpful and inspiring. So I really recommend the Do lectures for anything around kind of business and productivity and lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I know them. I know those books. The little small books. Do team, no? Build a team.
That's it.
I read a couple of those.
They're really, really good. And their email campaigns are just incredible. They're really, really good. So I highly recommend them. And the High Performance podcast I listen to every week. I'm going to their live event on Monday actually. But they're great. There's great stories with, you know, really inspiring people that have done cool stuff and kind of understanding, you know, how they've achieved what they've achieved. It's a really great podcast. The music
Very
thing
good.
is really
Very
hard
good stuff.
to
I
answer.
know. I'm sorry for
I'm
putting
a bit
you
of a
in this situation. Sorry.
I'm a bit of a music junkie, I suppose. There's always music on in the house, and I've always got it on somewhere. But there's stuff I always go back to, I suppose. I've always been a massive Radiohead fan. I've been obsessed the last 12 months with Little Sims, which is completely the opposite, but I love her, what she does. I also love like house music and dance music. I love Underworld, things like that. I suppose one of the bands that's had the biggest impact on me is Frightened Rabbit, a Scottish band who are no longer with us, unfortunately. But yeah, awesome. But yeah, I listen to all sorts of stuff and a lot of cheesy stuff as well that I wouldn't mention.
No need to say it here, okay?
Guilty pleasures.
No, I love some of those bands you mentioned. I mean, like I love music in general. To be honest, for me, every music has different moment, situation. So some music like to go to the job, to work, more like chilled, and some more like different moments for different music. It keeps me going. So well, this has been a fantastic. I mean, it's been a blast, mate. I've had a really good time. Obviously, we're coming to the end, and I just wanted to thank you again for obviously taking the time and joining.
No, thank you. It's always great to
be my
Tony.
guest.
Really appreciate it.
And I'm pretty sure people will love to listen, and whoever is watching the live the video version, or whoever is listening the podcast. I mean, I'm pretty sure people will really enjoy this session today, because we covered lots of different areas and lots of good stuff that you shared. And yeah, just to finish, any like how people can find you, very much. Like, tell people how can find Mike Pye and
yeah, sure. We're on Twitter, at Mike Pye on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn really easily. Probably the easiest places. That's generally where we put our content and stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'll share the links anyway with everyone can go and visit there and join and follow your content. So thanks everyone for joining. We appreciate your time and you've been listening or watching this my podcast, and see you next time. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Bye bye. Thanks, Mike. Take care. Bye bye. Cheers, mate. Bye.